What about the lady who didn't stand up properly afterwards? You fucking wankers!
She standing up properly. She was rather large, so she didn't fall down.
She stood up properly.
She didn't even go fucking on the floor.
You don't push cars earlier! You fucking... No, fuck you!
Don't calm down.
Fucking wanker!
Just arrest the survivor!
You saw someone push cars earlier! You fucking let that wanker get away! Now you're arrested! No, go fuck yourself!
Both of you, please let her down. Just please didn't say that her abuser was living with us. You scum!
The police hid that my abuser had abused a 3-year-old before me.
Yeah, that's what the police did. You two bunch of twats.
Arrest the survivor. To me.
Where am I going?
You might not be arrested. Ask to be de-arrested, young lady.
What's brought you out today?
Nazi scum.
I don't think we should let people with beliefs like that walk confidently around the streets. I don't think they should be allowed to do that.
So when I saw the post on Instagram, when they were saying about how it was they're allegedly protesting against CSA survivors and putting that all on their own racist narrative, they're using that to go and incite violence against immigrants or any person of colour really. And as someone who has gone through child sexual abuse, I think it's quite disgusting that one of the main things, or the main group of people in this country who do that are white people, and it's the white grooming acts that never get reported. And I mean, just look at them. That's all I'll say. But it's just this. When it touches my heart so deeply as well. I mean, my heart goes to all these people here, but they're so wrong, and they're using this thing of protecting the children when all they're doing is making their lives so much harder and worse. And I just think that's despicable, really.
Well, generally, I don't like when people come here and try and use. Particularly try and use incidents that have happened to promote racism. Like, obviously the grooming gang stuff has been an issue for a while, and I had a lot of issues with the way that was put out. But it's very interesting that they choose to fly UKIP flags when they're talking about it, only show faces of brown offenders, and don't have a wall of Catholic priests next to it. I have an issue with people spinning actual horrible things that have happened to people as some sort of demographics issue when it's not. It's an institutional power issue, and people who have vast power in communities and to be able to get away with that bullshit.
Well, basically, using these events as opportunities just to network, connect with more of the general public, and make them aware of maybe some of the issues that are happening right now in a broader sense, not just specifically what they came out here today for as well.
I saw the Turning Point ad on Facebook for the protest, so I decided to come up from South Wales. Obviously, I'm against child grooming gangs because I think it's totally wrong. You can't justify it in any way, and I just wanted to show my support. I'm not aligned to any UKIP or whatever. I don't think it's political. I think it's right and wrong. So, I'm not going to come here now and be swayed to vote UKIP or whatever. I'm here for the children in the grooming gangs. It's totally wrong. There needs to be the inquiry. It needs to happen. Whether the government are going to do it, I don't know. But eventually it's going to come. And I genuinely believe it's going to go from the bottom to the top. It's not right. It's not right.
Yeah, this was not about migrants. This was about not just the grooming gangs. There was two or three speakers who were seriously abused when they were in care as children. And some of them actually shared their stories, which are absolutely horrendous. And you've got these lunatics, Free Palestine, trying to shout them down and shout abuse at them. These are people who were really badly abused by our system, all of us, when they were young, who want to make sure it doesn't happen again. You've got these young crazy people shouting at them. Unless you're evil, who doesn't want to stop?
Some of these people have been through enough, I think. They don't deserve that to be heckled. They've been failed by the system. They deserve better respect, I think. No, we failed them. You know, it's not right, like.
Who doesn't want to stop child abuse, especially if it's when they're in care, they're supposed to be looked at by the system?
You're at your most vulnerable in care. You're at your most vulnerable. You've got nowhere to turn, and that's happening to you. It's not right.
To join up with Patriots of Britain and UKIP because they are willing to ask for stronger legal recourse to protect all of our children, whether you're black, white, brown, yellow, polka dot. Children across the board are being hurt in this country, and we need to change it. We need to stop it. We need to stand up for it. So it doesn't matter whether you're left, right, what colour you are, what religion you are. Children in this country deserve better. So this should be this one thing that we can all hold a line together on. And yeah, breaks my heart. Breaks my heart.
And the common rebuttal you hear about that is 83% of CSE perpetrators are white male. How do you reply to people that say that?
Hang them. Hang the white men. Hang every colour man, any colour man, woman. You hurt a child, you're broken, it's non-rehabilitable. I don't understand where it comes from. I don't understand what drives them. But no matter what colour you are, I want them stopped. It's not a racist issue. Do you know what I mean? It's not a racist issue for me. But the pain has got to stop.
Nick Tenconi, we know you! Fascist
That is sickening. You are using innocent victims and survivors like us to parrot your narrative, your racist, fascist agenda. I shouldn't be having to come all the way from the Socialist Republic of Liverpool to tell you all to do one.
Go away, mate. Just take it out of it. Will you drop down, please?
What's your opinions on mass deportation?
I think that they should be deported over these fucking people. I'm sorry. I think that everyone should be allowed to come into anywhere. We all live on the same planet. There is no reason why these people who are just coming here to start a life and fund our country, they keep our country afloat. And for some reason, they let you go and think that it's their fault that they're poor. No, babe, it's your government. It's your government's fault. And they've been indoctrinated by Nigel Farage and all the other fucking fascist governments to go and think that it's people of colour. It's really not. And I think they need to shut the fuck up, really.
In fairness, I did concede that if somebody's committed a crime like murder, rape, paedophilia, them being deported is not necessarily an issue to me. But deporting their families back to countries that may not be stable, deporting them to a third country that they've never been to before, basically a black site being sent to Rwanda, it's just not tenable. Now, there's no easy solution. There's absolutely no easy solution to it. But there needs to be an international effort to actually enrich these countries like Syria, like Afghanistan, like them, to make them stable enough. Not necessarily, you can't change the government overnight, but have a stable enough education, economic system that people don't need to flee as much. It won't go down unless the actual problems in the home countries calm down. People don't travel in rubber dinghies and almost die on the ocean for nothing.
That's inhumane. I don't know.
I think mass deportation's a great idea. When can we deport them? I hope that's what they were asking for, because I think the rest of us think the best thing about Britain is that it is a country where all kinds of people can live in peace together. And if there's anyone who really just doesn't like our society because it is too diverse and too mixed for them, then maybe they should just go somewhere else.
I think that the UK has been curious and welcoming of people. England, as a multi-ethnic country, doesn't bother me in the slightest. As a multicultural country, we need to pull together as one culture. If you don't speak the language, how can we speak to each other? If you don't stand for the same morals and values, how can we be a country? So, yeah, I would say that deportation is a necessary step, because we welcomed immigrants, but invaders, in my opinion, do you know what I mean? Invaders are different to immigrants. People that come to this country waving our flag, wanting to say, hey, I see what you stand for and I'd like to join you and I'd like to be one of you. I think we're really good to those people. But people who come here saying that I hate you and I want to do things to change you, that's not an immigrant, that's an invader. And I wish nothing but peace for our children. And if that means closing the doors for a time to get ourselves strong and to clean out our house, as a lesbian, I call out the gay community. I'm asking anybody, wherever your community is, clean your house, because we can all do better together. And we should be able to stand together for this. And I'm not comfortable in the crowd down there, but I will stand on the fringes and I will stand wherever I can, close enough to say, I'm trying to be braver. So, yeah, I'm just trying to be braver for our kids. And if UKIP is the vehicle for that, then I will support that vehicle, because we need change. We need change.
I missed the first couple of minutes. I missed Nick being on. I disagree with Nick on a lot of things. If you're not British and you took part in raping a load of young kids, why should you be here?
I'll be honest with you, the whole mass deportations, I honestly think if you want to come to our country, women, children as refugees, have your documentation. If you're coming in with no documentation whatsoever, how can we trace who people are? It's common sense. You go on holidays, you land in Manchester Airport, where's your passport? Okay, they say they've come from war-torn countries. Maybe they have, but I'd be expecting to see more women and children. You know, I don't think mass deportations will happen. I don't think we've got the will. Donald Trump has got the will to do it. I don't think our country's got the will. Something's got to be done, because we're a small island, we're getting flooded. They need to address this, because it's not going to end well at all. but I don't think our government have got the will for mass deportations. Where are you going to send people? It's not going to happen.
It's all right when you're young and I was on those kind of crowds when I was that age. It's all right being young and ideologically shouting what you think when you've no experience. I've actually lived for 4 years in India, 4 years in China, several years in Malaysia, several years in Spain. When I live in some of them are Muslim countries, when you live in someone else's country, you try and fit in and be respectful. There is none of that happening. People come here and want to change the country. When I've lived in other people's countries, you be polite. You go into somebody else's house, you be polite.
Yeah, it's potentially. I find some of the rhetorics can be a little bit extreme. I've got to be honest. But there's clearly a migrant crisis. I think that it's being deliberately orchestrated to cause, at the very least, division within society, and to dilute Western values and culture in respect of. There's an agenda at play to implement a one world government where everything is centralised and we don't have rights and freedoms. So the more they can divide us, the more they can dilute our culture. The positive things about the English culture, British heritage, with our rights, freedoms, democracy, the more that those values are diluted, the easier we are to control. So I think that, mass deportation of illegal immigrants, I wouldn't argue against. So I think the problem is that because these issues aren't being dealt with by the government and by the media, by the government, there's potential for extremity, whether it be veering off to the right or to the left. You know what I mean? So the more that society breaks down, the more potential there is for things to become more extreme on all sides. And I think there's examples of that all the time. So, but I think what we need in society, really in society, we all have to try and get along. So there has to be a degree of fairness and negotiation. And if you to use an analogy, if we were all coming to the table trying to meet on how we could best get along, I think that the fact that a lot of people embed themselves so far, if you take the migrant crisis, for example, there's a clear problem there. I would never backtrack. I'd never U-turn on that. That's what I believe, and I'm. But the thing is when people dare to speak out about this, they're labelled as far right, Nazis, fascists, and I think there's an unwillingness sometimes from people more towards the left to even come to the table and negotiate on this. And if there was a little bit of a leeway and a little bit of give, maybe we could all move on a little, get along a little bit better.
They're entitled to put signs in my face when it's touching my hat.
We're watching it, buddy. We're stood here. We're watching.
Sure they're allowed to stand there and film. I'm not on either side, to be honest with you. I don't care.
Meters in for no reason.
I didn't walk to me. I was stood on the edge of the curb.
You weren't. You were a bit further than that.
Right, if they haven't moved, I was stood right there, sir. So why are you lying? 10 metres off the curb.
Okay, it weren't 10 metres.
Two tier, pal. Two tier. Chanting!
Going back to Donald Trump and the mass deportations in America, some people are saying it's suspending due process. What do you think about that?
If you're actually there illegally, what due process? If you've already broke the law, you can't then say, oh, well, we'll use the law. If you're illegal, they've not said anything about actually throwing out people who are legally there. I mean, I say the speaker here, who's one of the main ones against child rape gangs, he's Pakistani. His dad brought him here. What's his name? Tusi. Maya Tusi. I saw this lot chase him off in London, screaming at him, baying for blood, shouting the refugees are welcome here. He's a refugee. He's a little brown guy. He's a refugee. You're chasing him off, calling for his death. Do you not actually listen to what you're saying, you lunatics? You can't call for people's death and say because we believe refugees are here when the person's death you're calling for is a refugee. Just crazy.
I think that he deserves dead on a spike. I have so many words that I know I can't say on there about that man. And I just think that he's gone after every marginalised community in America. He's now going after homegrowns as well, which that should include himself. That should include his whole cabinet. It should include everybody. Everyone is allowed to go everywhere, and I don't think that he, as an ugly geriatric fucking tangerine, has any say on whatever people go and do at all.
I mean, it was unforgivable when the ICE camps happened in the first place, in the first term, and it's just more of that. Now, the only benefit that I see from this time around is that the right seem more split in America between the technocrat sort of Elon Musk type people and general day-to-day people who vote for the Republican Party. So I think it's still awful and it shouldn't be happening. And those Colombians who are being sent to El Salvador with no paper and no documentation to a prison, it's unforgivable what they're doing.
Oh, fuck that guy. No, I think that country's rapidly on its way to full fascism. It's very concerning.
It's terrible, and someone needs to stop him. I don't even understand how that man is in charge of a country, because isn't he a criminal anyway? Hasn't he already committed crimes against his own country? So I don't know much about big politics, but I think there's like a really kind of simple way when you're going about in the world. You know, it's quite simple to just not be a dick, and we don't need people in power that are going to divide us and then try and deport people.
There's the mass deportations, which are fucking horrific, but also, oh great, yeah, they're coming round.
In America, Trump's doing mass deportation at the minute, and we're seeing people get deported for their political ideology, like supporting Palestine. Are you in favour of that?
No, I think the one thing that we stand for at British Lines for Freedom is you know, our natural law, our God-given rights to freedom of speech, expression, thought. You know, so I think that deporting people based on a political view or ideology without any serious justification, if they've not, you know, unless they commit harm, injury, you know, loss or something like that, just for somebody's, you know, just to start to, I think that's a slippery slope where, you know, there's, like I said, there's so much wrong with this country and with this world at the moment, and things are becoming worse. And as things get worse, there's more opportunity for things and people to become more extreme. So no, I wouldn't be deporting people just based on their religious ideology or things like that.
No, we're the American citizens. If you're not a citizen of that country, the country has a right to deport you, whatever. When I go to China quite a lot because I teach Chinese arts. I don't piss the government off. There's things I'd say occasionally. Don't say them. Or I would expect to get... If you go through a lot of the Muslim airports in the Middle East and you've got drugs on you, you expect to spend a long time in prison. Know the country you're in and don't be abusive, or don't go to that country. Simple.
everyone's got the right to speech in this country. It's part of your human rights. Like, I agree with some things, they don't agree with what I agree with. It's your right. But if you're preaching hate and division, our side or their side, whatever side it is, it's not right. If you come out and you're peaceful, everyone goes home, great. But if you're looking at violence and things, that's not the answer. It'd be good if all these protests could turn up and not need such a police presence. But like, they're so worried something's going to happen. We are built on free speech and it's got to go back to them old ways. I think we've lost a lot of values in this country. We've lost a lot. Our culture used to be a lot different to what it is now. And you say the good old days, but I am saying the good old days. I don't recognise the way it is now.
Unfortunately, young people don't understand that. It's just old people saying the good old days. No, you could say what you wanted years ago, and it was called debate. Now it's not. I mean, I watched one on YouTube last week, filmed this lot. One of them got arrested, and they all attacked the police. And they ended up arresting 5. I think there's a couple of police are going to end up dying to stop this lot. That's not protest, that's a riot.
We can all have a chat. I'd rather debate with somebody, and if you can change my mind, fantastic. I'd rather debate than argue and shouting back and forth. What's that solving? We just divided. We've got to come together.
There's a lot of young people shouting, trying to shut the speakers up here, and the speakers up here are just talking about child abuse. Why do you want to stop that? There's got to be something wrong with you mentally.
Why would you not support a country supporting itself? Palestine and Israel is not something I'm knowledgeable enough to speak on. So today I have no statement to give on that because I don't speak on things that I don't know enough to speak on. I'm trying to learn about it. I'm trying to grow in myself and my knowledge about it. I can't speak for President Trump. I can't speak for America. What I can speak for is the problems I see here at home.
But in general, would you agree with, would you support deporting people for perceived ideologies against the state?
Ideologies are not perceived. Ideologies are or they are not. So
perceived to be against the state.
Well, it is or it isn't. So no, I don't believe in perceiving things. I believe in investigating them and empirically testing them and seeing what the merit of something is. So yeah, unless you give me a really specific, do you know what I mean, instance that you're talking about, I can't really give you my opinion on it because it's a very broad scope. So do I think deportation is something that is necessary? I think it has to be on the table. Because I think you have to identify what people stand for and a nation should pull together in one direction. And if your moral value is don't fuck children, then you're on the wrong side. So yeah, I don't care what colour you are, what creed you are, where you come from. Don't fuck kids.
What would you say makes somebody English?
Like, being able to get up in the morning, take a bus ride to a place that's rural and see a load of sheep, I don't know. Like, I'm proud to be from Manchester. I think obviously there's a divide between the north and the south economically and stuff like that. But I'm happy to get up, I'm happy to watch rugby, happy to do any of that. I enjoy the pastimes and the songs. Jerusalem is one of my favourite songs ever, and I think it should be the national anthem if I'm honest. But I'm fairly proud to be English. I'm proud that my family are Irish immigrants. I'm proud of all of it. Like, I think we can live in a very beautiful place at times.
That's a good question, actually. I think what they're going to say, being born here, being raised here, being my granddad's from here, all my ancestors from here. English, it's a state of mind. You are here, you live here, you pay into this country, you do your part, and you just respect your common man. That makes you English. Just trying to overturn all the horrible, horrible things we did in history, which they're now encouraging us to do again, which is appalling. So it's just like, just being true to yourself and just generally respectful. That's what makes me English. That's what makes me like just a better than them. And I'm proud to be a British person. But they make me upset to be a British person because I never want to be grouped in with those people ever again. Yeah.
To be English, to me, I guess I'm a civnat. Do you know what I mean? I'm not an ethno-nationalist. Do you know what I mean? Others are, so I can't speak for other people. Yeah, I believe that if people were coming off boats waving our flags and saying, like, I've read what it means, I want to share your moral value, I want to share, which did come from Judeo-Christian values. Yeah, for me, it's not a colour thing. It's a belief. I mean, there's a history. There's a shared history, obviously, for Anglo-Saxons and people that have been here a long time, but. Yeah, do I personally believe that you can like grow to share a direction that you want the country to go? Maybe there's a difference between Briton and British, but yeah, do you know what I mean? I think people can grow together to become a people, but that means loving the place and aligning with your morals.
I live in Britain.
I think it's something being raised.
British passport holder. I live in Britain.
We have got, our culture is great, it is. Now you look after your own, we look after elderly until the last couple of years, obviously with the cold water payments going, but like we are a civilised nation. People want to come here and start a life. You can't blame them. But I think we are a real welcoming country, but we've lost looking after our own, I think. We all need to start looking together and try and build, because at the minute there's divide. But I'm proud to be British. I think where we are around the world, people seem to like us, because we have given so much to the world. But it seems now, they're looking at all these protests, it's laughable.
I think a lot of them coming in don't want to come here because they're British. They come here because they're given hotels and loads of money. I mean, I've not got heating on in my house. We were just saying, we went past the Crest Court Hotel in Altrincham on the day it snowed. I can't afford to put the heating on my house. All the windows were open. They had it up to tropical temperature inside and they had nice fresh air because they opened all the windows. What is that about? We're paying for people, we don't know who they are, to have every opportunity, but you see people lining doorways here. Surely we should be cleaning up people who need help here.
It happened in COVID. You're all in hotels during COVID. As soon as COVID finished, it's totally changed. You know, I honestly think, probably wrong saying this, the best days of our country are probably gone. It needs a mass change. Whether it's like whatever political movement or whatever, or also people coming together, settling and mixing in communities, it's got to happen because we're so divided. And we're going backwards, I don't think we're going forwards.
Well, they've shut down one rape gang headquarters near where I live. I've actually seen 2 girls picked up recently and driven off at high speed. What's partly horrible, walking around the park behind my house. You used to always look people in the eye as you're walking up, smile, say good morning. Most women won't look at you now if you're a man. They're terrified. That's not a country to live in. Just being able to say hello. You just walked up and said, can I film you? You spoke to us.
Yeah.
Having someone walking around a park doing this if you're a man, that is horrible. It's not how I grew up. You probably don't know that, you're not old enough. When I was a kid, you went to school across 2 main roads. I went to school on my own from the age of 7. You walked up to the main road at the crossing, you stood there until either a big hairy hand or a nice delicate hand shot down from a stranger. You got hold of the hand, they took you across the road, Sometimes they were crossing, sometimes they weren't, but they crossed you across the road, then they went back. You helped the kids around you. You didn't gang rape them because they're not your culture. And that's the world we come from, where you could say hello to anyone you passed in the street. Now you say hello to some people, they think you're weird.
I was born here, you know, and then, I mean, to say that, you know, I don't mean like people can come here and they can become British, become English. I don't really focus too much on the British thing personally, even though we're called British Lions for Freedom. I don't really tie myself too much to a nation or a flag. You know, I look at it more from a global perspective. I think we're all human beings. We've all got to live on this planet together. You know, I mean, I'm English. I was born here. I think I try and, for the last 5 years since the pandemic and the lockdowns, those huge infringements on our rights and our freedoms and the crimes against humanity that have been committed by governments, corporations. I've fought tooth and nail, and I've sacrificed a lot to protect English values, you know, our rights and our freedoms, which, you know, a lot of people have made massive sacrifices for in the past. So if that makes me English, then I'd say, yeah.
Nationalities or beliefs just deserve better. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, this should be something that crosses the political pursuit.
Sorry.
No, you're all right.
You let your country down. You let your country down.
Verbal allocation.
No.
You're supposed to do your job, mate.
Wave that flag in Palestine. Wave your flag in Palestine. I will pay for your ticket. I will go and wave that flag in Palestine. Don't even have a clue. You don't have a clue. My guys, stop crying.
So corporatism, which is fascism, and socialism, collecting the means of production, is essentially the same thing. So my argument to you is that historically fascism is the same as communism. And you're libelous. Yeah, I do. So what is a fascist? What is a fascist? What is a fascist? Don't be a coward and define the words you want to use. Define the words. Define the words you want to use.
Listen, this town's getting fucked up. You know what I mean, bro?
There is in this outfit.
Please, get me on this. Listen, you know what? I'm here to help people. But you know what? You know the switch, isn't it, brother?
Which you claim will disrespect you.
Well, tell me you want it, man. Hearts to hearts, though. Hearts to hearts, though. Hearts to hearts, though. I got my heart there, yo. Your heart to heart, though.
Oh no! Unfortunate to hear the attempt to cut my freedom of speech. Oh, and the politics here again.
I sound like Prince William.
So wait, can they disperse as well? Have they been told to disperse?
Get back to London.
And why are they currently? Why are they still organised and not allowed to?
Everybody start leaving. Right, everybody, time to go.
No worries. And the fact is they're saying it's their street.
Our street! Our street! Our street! Our street!
Why don't you stop pretending you're partial when you're not? Thank you. Yeah, you hater. Why are you pretending you're partial when you're not? Go back to the other side where you was from.
Hey, listen. I don't really like
I mean, I really don't like the
Anything else in general you want to finish on?
Not really, no. Just that we're on Facebook and Telegram. It's British Lions for Freedom on Facebook and Telegram. You know, we try and work across the board. We try and promote unity where possible, and we work across the board. We attend all sorts of different rallies, and I'll just leave people with this saying. You know, one thing that we sort of live by is that I'll never judge the one or the few based on the actions of a demographic, and I'll never judge a demographic based on the actions of the one or the few. And that's something that we believe in, and that's how we work. So if anybody's interested, go to Facebook, join the group, and you know, connect as much as possible, because we're all stronger together.
I know we go on about the good old days, but it's not that long ago. And I do think it has changed for the worse in the moment in this country. What's going to take to get back to it? As I say, I'm not aligned to any political party whatsoever. I'm just here today because obviously I believe what's going on to these poor people in care is totally wrong. But it doesn't put me off coming because people are heckling me. I'm not here for that. I'm here for this, you know. And I've got to go back on the tube on my own. Will someone have a go at me because I'm this side? Who knows? But you've come now to expect it. That's how the country's gone. So, but it's been nice talking to you anyway. It's nice to have a chat with people.
You want to add anything?
I went over to the toilet before and I went through that crowd, and I was going to speak to all of them in general. I didn't. I just picked half a dozen. I said, "Why are you shouting? That's a little brown Pakistani man, Muslim. He's speaking up against child grooming gangs. Why are you shouting at him?" And they just glaze over. Well, we want migrants here. Yeah, he's a migrant. Why are you shouting at him? They don't seem to have the ability to cognise or reason. You don't realise what schools has done to people in the last 30 years, because I've not been in the schools.
I agree with that.
They are mentally ill. To want to be angry against people who are trying to stop child abuse, whether it's grooming gangs or in care, that's mentally ill. And the fact that young people are trying to be angry about stopping child abuse, there's something wrong with them. And that is sad. How you get through to them.
It's a heinous crime trying to abuse
How
them.
you get through to these people. I was just saying that to Gareth. They're the people we need here on our side, shouting about child abuse and trying to make it a better society. Not screaming about something on the other side of the world. That might need sorting. Most of them are British. Most of them live.
Hopefully I'll upload more videos in the future. See yous.
What's the name of your channel?
The Engelsist.
There you go. Sometimes I'm anti-social, but I'm always anti-fascist. Get these people out of my town. They do not deserve to be here. They don't deserve to walk on these streets and not get punched in the face.